Welcome to another viewing and reacting video by me, the J-Dude. And today, I'm going to take a look at another Twilight-Tober Zone episode called A Game of Pool. You know, I done a lot of these like last year, and why not do it again? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Honk.
A Game of Pool is yet another classic that we're covering this year.
This better have a better twist from the one I saw earlier.
It's a top-notch two-person piece with a pair of memorable performances leading the way. One of the most interesting things about it concerns the ending, and it's not what was in the original script. There's plenty of information out there on the sequence that was supposed to close out this story, so you can decide for yourself if it would have improved an already remarkable episode. Jesse Cardiff considers himself the best pool player around, but he's constantly compared to the deceased James Howard Brown, aka Fats. Fats was legendary in his time, and the constant comparison bothers Cardiff to no end. One night, he yells out to the empty pool hall that he wishes he could have beaten Fats himself and proven he's better. We cut to the afterlife, where Fats is perpetually playing pool. He's called down to Chicago, where Jesse is located, and appears to him, offering to play.
Really,
The only stipulation is that...
Really, they have pool tables in heaven? I can't believe it. Sounds almost like a cartoon.
The afterlife, where Fats is perpetually playing pool. He's called down to Chicago, where Jesse is located, and appears to him, offering to play. The only stipulation is that if Jesse loses, he dies. Cardiff is at first shocked by the whole situation, but after some prodding, he accepts Brown's challenge. The two greats then engage in a game of 14-1 rack for the ages.
14-1 rack?
What's most fun about this episode is the back and forth between Jack Klugman's Jesse and Jonathan Winters' Fats. They have a certain chemistry that...
Jonathan Winters?
And I really appreciated how real the...
Well, I totally didn't recognize him with that hair. Like, he was so young back then. Not young, but still, like... Because of Jonathan Winters I knew today? Oh my god.
The rivalry felt.
When I was a kid, I knew a lot of guys like you. Guys who were good at things like music and arithmetic and basketball. Guys who would do anything to make me feel about that big.
You fooled him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. That's right.
The older Brown trying to teach Cardiff a few things while also never letting his guard down came across strongly. He's trying to win and clearly loves the competition, but there are certain looks from him that give off the impression Fats has something else up his sleeve. There are also lines that make you wonder if he's being sincere or messing with his challenger.
You know something, Jesse?
There's more to life than this pool hall. I took time out to live, too. When I think of the wonderful things there are to see and to do.
Is that really sweat or water?
You rotting your life away in this miserable, dark hall.
Jonathan Winters did a wonderful job in this role. He's of course known as a renowned comedic actor, especially at this point in 1961, but he made the switch to this more dramatic, mysterious character flawlessly. Producer Buck Houghton was concerned about including him since he was apparently known as a nervous guy, but after seeing the performances, they became one of Houghton's favorite parts of the installment. Making his second of 4 indelible appearances was Jack Klugman. He gave us another great turn, this time as a determined and eager to prove himself pool player. There is so much beneath the surface with this character, and I love when those emotions break through the cracks in the episode.
I knew that somewhere there was something I could be good at. One day I picked up a cue. I asked an old man. He was sitting right over there. Right there. I said, you want to play, mister? And I beat him. The first time I ever played him, and I beat him.
There's obviously some sort of personal issue that you can see in one form or another in most overly competitive people. Klugman, director Buzz Kulik, and writer George Clayton Johnson represented that well. This was the 6th episode for Kulik, and it may have been his best up until this point. There's not much done with the style here, and he let the performances carry the weight of the installment. There were only 2 locations, and while he gets to try a few things in the montage of the game passing by, the shots
going time in a montage.
Visual standouts. The action on the pool table looks great, and creates some excitement considering what's on the line, too. Jack Klugman was supposedly a decent pool player, but they got a professional to step in on all the
Oh.
close-ups. George Clayton Johnson was back with his 4th script, and it's another winner. He said he based the premise off of pool halls he used to visit as a teenager. While we can give him all the credit in the world for the story, the ending he had originally written wasn't used in this version of a game of pool. Details after the twist.
The twist. Spoilers.
After the tense and very close game comes down to a single shot, Jesse nails it and does the impossible. He's defeated the legendary James Howard Brown. Fats seems almost relieved as he thanks Cardiff and says he won more than he's bargained for. After the dead man disappears, Jesse celebrates his victory. We then dissolve to the same space in the afterlife where we saw Fats earlier, except this time it's Jesse exhaustedly staring at a pool table as his name is called. He heads off to face another person who claims to be the best, doomed to repeat this cycle over and over until somebody beats him and takes the title of the greatest. In Johnson's script, Cardiff actually loses the game. It's suggested that there will be a rematch in the future as Jesse continues to practice and improve. Being dead, Fats is as good as he's going to get, but our main character has the opportunity to reach a level of skill that will surpass Brown down the road. That could be viewed in 2 ways, in my opinion. Number 1, it's more hopeful, since Jesse has the time to get better and maybe even enjoy the other aspects of life Fats was telling him about. Number 2, Jesse will obsess over this loss for the rest of his life and never live it down, damning him to a life of constant practice, knowing he never beat the best in his only shot. They did use Johnson's ending in the 1980s Twilight Zone remake of this episode. Does it make it a better story, though? I'm not so sure. Rod Serling rewrote the intro and ending for the 1961 version, and as a fit for what the Twilight Zone was known for in the early 60s, I think it works a little bit better. It's also aged well. The idea of it being lonely at the top and unceasing comparisons happening even after death can sound like an unending nightmare to someone who worked their whole life to be number 1. We see comparisons like this with athletes or pretty much anything all the time. How many Jordan versus LeBron hypotheticals have you heard? The original/alternate ending still absolutely works, but I'll admit I thought Serling's rewrite was more appropriate. Either way, A Game of Pool is one of the best episodes Season 3 had to offer. And there were
So the rewrite is basically like, here we go again!
many others that were of high quality to equate it to. I'd encourage you to check out both the 1961 and 1989 versions and decide which one you'd prefer to see on a quiet evening in the Twilight Zone.
I'm not sure. Him losing would have made more sense, but him winning is more like, ugh. So I wouldn't know. Anyway, that was my viewing and reacting to A Game of Pool. If there's anything else you want me to view and react to, please let me know in the comment section below.